Now this is good satire. All right, now we get to talk about my favorite movie of this bunch, American Fiction, which has the Watcher as the main character, Jeffrey Wright, I believe, who gets to express more of his comedic chops, and he's actually very, very funny. Yeah, Jeffrey Wright. So American Fiction is a very interesting satire that I really, really liked. I actually really love this movie. This is the only one of this batch of movies that I've watched twice. So American Fiction is a movie about a black author played by Jeffrey Wright, who very, 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 very much doesn't want to be defined by his blackness. He does not want to be known as a black author. He just wants to be an author who just writes books that are not related to his experience as a black man or anything like that. In fact, he seems like he's lived very well off as a black man, so he's like, I don't want to be known for this. I don't want to be associated with this kind of literature. Despite the fact that he can't get a book deal because publishers want books about the black experience, and mostly in that, that whole gangsta flavor kind of a way. So he's very standoffish about this. He's not happy about this. He's very pissed off about it. So when he is basically put in a sabbatical or suspended from his job as a teacher, he goes back home to Boston where his family lives and starts to reconnect his family that way. But one night, without going too much into spoilers, he kind of goes on a drunken bender and just kind of because while this is happening, there's another book that's being published that does lean into the kind of not blaxploitation, but a black book that very much plays in the it seems like it plays in the stereotypes that he hates, that he's tired of perpetuating, that he feels like doesn't have a place in literature, and just can't stand that this book is being more popular than anything he's ever written. So one day, in a kind of drunken bender, he decides to write up his own version of the story that's deliberately over the top, that's deliberately playing to pandering to every stereotype he can, to every supposed raw and real thing that white readers think they want. And he sends to his publisher as a joke. Basically says no, don't tell him as a joke. Let's play it straight. Fuck these people. But unfortunately, his book gets picked up, and it spirals into this web of deceit where now he's being offered more money he's ever made in his life for this book, even though he can't fucking stand it. But he has to pretend to be this pseudonym he's created for the book, and he's created a whole black persona around that. And then it just turns into while this is happening, he's doing some family life at home, he's trying a new relationship, but his increasing lies or secrets around this book kind of catch up with him and turn him into a much more bitter and angry person as the story goes on. First off the bat, fantastic concept. Movie's fucking hysterical. This is a case where I genuinely laughed my ass off on more than one occasion. Very, very sharp analysis of, I guess, the place in culture that these stories have. Because, yeah, I've definitely watched my fair share of them. One of my greatest regrets in reviewing these stuff is giving a fairly positive review to the Green Book. I deeply regret that now, and I look back, it's oh my god, I was so stupid. But I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert, but I've seen enough of these kinds of movies or these kind of books to yeah, you can tell what's pandering and what's not. No, that makes me sound like I'm an expert on it. No, I'm not. I just seen enough that I can get the jokes. There we go. That's better. And what's being said. And it's Jeffrey Wright, first of all, does not get enough credit for his comedic acting. He's a very funny actor, and I kind of wish he got to explore that a bit more. But he's fucking great in this. The family drama is really, really good. As his mother starts developing Alzheimer's. Spoiler alert: his sister dies at the end of the first act, which creates a lot of division between him and the rest of his family. He's always kind of in the black sheep of the family, so he doesn't really know how to connect with anyone there. He almost kind of views being an outsider as a badge of honor. So he's very standoffish and not necessarily aggressive, but disagreeable with a lot of his peers as a result. He thinks the book he's made is fucking garbage, and he hates that it's connected to so many people. Some of the attempts he makes to stop it from being published without blowing his cover is also hysterical. Has one of the best jokes in the movie, and I don't want to say what it is because I think you should go into it blind. That's very, very. It's like you'd be like one of the people like just laughing our fucking ass off. But even despite all the clear satire and pointing out how dumb a lot of white viewers are who do not understand African American culture in America and clearly don't have an interest in exploring it beyond this very limited lens. But at the same time, there is also a kind of nuanced discussion between like, is there still a place for these kind of stories? Is it reductive to like Black people in America to have their stories only told through this lens of like poor ghetto like drug dealer, all those kind of stereotypes? Like, is there room for exploration within that within those stories, or is the existence of it mean that Black people will only ever be defined by that? Is there room for more? There is a lot of complicated discussions around that. It's not a simple issue, and it's using the lens of satire to explore that in the way it deserves to be explored. In that capacity, yeah, it's very interesting. And the way it dives into all of it, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And this is one of those cases, unlike the other movies I talk about, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give too much away in how it satirizes, again, just what publishers want, what gets popular, what's seen as deep and real, and again, all while tying in with this very human relationships and these very human characters. This, like, of the bunch I'm reviewing here, this is easily my favorite. I fucking love this movie. This is one of the cases where I recommend it to anyone who is interested in this kind of movie. So, if anything I've said so far sounds interesting to you, highly recommend American Fiction. It was my favorite of the bunch. Probably be my top 10 list when I eventually get around to that. Just overall, it is hilarious while also being thought-provoking in a topic that does not get the attention it really deserves. And I wish more films would kind of lead this discussion more, because I think there's a lot to be said. So I think that's all I can say. That's all I can say of American Fiction without just going into jokes I really liked, and I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. So go watch it. Highly recommend it. I think it just went on rental on Amazon, so go watch it. Great movie. Thank you guys so much for staying through this batch of reviews, and I will see you all next time. Bye.